All right, so much has happened behind the scenes, and many, under the water conversation has happened. But we dive right into our first and main topic for today, which is the evolution of masculinity. In a time where we're living, in different changes, and perhaps nowhere is this more evident than in the evolving definition of masculinity. For generations, men were often defined by a narrow set of expectations, strength, stoicism, and success. But today, the script is being rewritten. What does it mean to be a man in the current age? How are men navigating the pressures of a changing world? And what does the future hold? We're moving beyond the outdated stereotypes, but the path forward isn't always clear. So join us as we explore the complexities of modern masculinity and the pressures, the challenges, and the opportunities for growth. So, yes, what does it mean to be a masculine man? In the words of the messages I've been getting ever since I put up your picture on my status, they say you are the ideal, man. Yes, the perfect man. Sorry, guys, sorry. They didn't say any of us. In fact, I was this, but they said him in particular. But yeah, let's ask you, what do you think is the definition of a modern man in today's society?
I actually think I would have preferred to sample everybody else's opinion first. Before I chime in. But
that's very modest.
Yeah.
But you answer.
I will. I will.
Now that's the kind of answer that the perfect man would have given.
There you go. Trauma.
That's the kind of answer.
Anyway, I did beef you. We'll talk about that later.
Why?
It is what you are doing.
See,
Can I bribe you?
once a man like this is beefing you, it involves the other gender.
You're a very smart man. You're smart. You're too smart. So you wanted to say?
So yeah, like I was saying, he's tossed it to us to basically say what we feel about the current state of masculinity or manhood in general. And it's to be honest, the society we live in was built by men.
You think so?
Yeah. Who built it?
Today's society?
Yes.
You sure about that?
This building, this place where we're under right now, these lights, this studio, this Echo Atlantic place. How many women did you see during the construction? Be honest.
The question. How many?
How many bricklayers? How many people doing the roads?
Okay.
How many people putting up the poles, doing the digging?
You have a point
doing
there.
the labor.
Yeah.
It was literally built by men.
Okay.
But thank God for your organization that has empowered a lot of women in it and has put them in certain positions.
But I think, you know what? Now, let me listen to you.
So I'm just saying that at the end of the day, now that the world is set and things are now juicy and robust, now all of a sudden people just want to come in and be like, you know what? You guys have done enough. We want to enjoy these things without knowing what it took to get there.
Okay.
So the male figure is being attacked.
You think so?
Yes. We've talked about it on the show to a certain extent. Because for some reason, I see it like this, and I've said it before, for some reason, women believe there's something men are enjoying that they did not enjoy. With certain freedoms. Or you can have more than one wife, or you can cheat and be rewarded, or you're a player. When you sleep with somebody, you're not condemned the way I am. When you do all sorts of things. So they feel like men are at an advantage in this so-called modern society that they've built. So they're fighting back now because they also want to enjoy certain freedoms.
So you think that affects what the definition of
so that's
modern
now what has
masculinity
affected
is?
Because man is being attacked on his character, the way he carries himself, the way he lives his life.
Okay.
So that they can, in other words, do the same.
Okay, Dek, I need to ask you this.
Okay. Yes, please.
So do you think modern masculinity is dead? That's the first question. And do you think it's because of women?
Well, first and foremost, I don't think that modern masculinity ever even was recognized. And I'll tell you, from inception, if there was masculinity, I don't think Adam should have taken that fruit.
He went there.
That's a complex
He went
conversation.
there. Oh my God, no.
No, if it's a belief,
That's a
right,
very
that there's
complex
masculinity,
conversation.
this guy is a man.
Do you
If Eve comes to him and tells you, take this apple, he'll say, no, I'm the man. I will not, my brother, I will not be suffering today.
Let me ask you a question.
Today.
Let me ask you a question. And this is not to create any religious bias or settlement. what if Eve eating the apple, yeah, was Satan having sex with Eve? Question, just,
Yeah.
what if that's what it was?
That school of thought
Let me
exists.
bring my brain back.
Yeah, like what if the apple that Eve ate was Satan
I was
having sex with Eve?
So basically, yeah.
Oh my God! How did you get there?
Don't let see, my guy.
The Bible is complex.
This conversation that you're having
You have
is
to
not
know
it's not normal eyes conversation.
Wait, let me bring up my pen and paper.
So she came to Adam, and Adam was clueless.
Okay.
Completely clueless.
So let me, that was just, what I said
We'll
was
save
just,
that for some
was
other
just
day.
was just an icebreaker, basically, right? Let's be
I'm
realistic.
dumbfounded. I don't even know what to say.
Let's be realistic about masculinity in
today's world.
in today's world,
Yeah.
in the modern day.
Let's not blame
alright?
Eve for that.
And the social contract.
Thank you.
Now you must understand that what we see as masculinity, especially in Africa, is not what masculinity is.
So
A lot
what's
of
your
the time,
definition of it?
masculinity in Africa is the fact that I am the head and you must be under me.
Okay.
Whatever I say must go. That's not the way it is in the West. You know that. A woman owns the house, whether or not you put the down payment for the house yourself. She owns the house. If anything happens between the both of you, he's out of the house.
Okay.
So, you see, this takes me back to the whole Cassie issue. And you said certain things about Cassie. I wanted to say something about the fact that, have you heard of the word Stockholm Syndrome before?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Have you ever heard of the word? It is important to understand that you can actually, fall in love with the person who is inflicting pain on you. And you must also understand that it is easy to feel pain and then begin to enjoy the pain.
Correct.
Not because you are enjoying the pain.
You're
right?
used to it.
Now, let me quickly come back to what masculinity is in this, sphere, right? Didic used to call himself the king of where?
New York.
The king of New York. Do you know what it means for you to say that you are the king of New York? He had the resources, he knew people, he had power, he could do absolutely anything that he wanted to do in the modern day as a man. Do you know that Didi never imagined that he would ever be incarcerated? He never thought that anybody, because he was friends with the mayor, he was friends with politicians and what have you. So as a man, you see, there are so many things that happen in modern day masculinity, like modern day man, that basically undermines the connection between a man and a woman. Like you said, you see, the differences between a man and a woman are totally different. It's a different world. If you're a man, it's a different world. If you're a woman, it's a different world. Now, let's take it to, this thing called, the other side, if you're playing towards the other side. I don't want to talk about it. But the LGBTQ community.
Oh my Lord.
Now, hold on.
I thought I was going to say Zeno.
Hold on. What is Zeno do to you?
Sorry.
Leave Zeno out of this.
Have you asked yourself why some women want to be men?
Some men want to be women.
Some women, of course, some men
Some
also
men
want to be.
women.
Yes, I agree. But why do you think that a woman will want to be a man?
It's like
And
I said, they
act-
think they're
and-
enjoying certain
and-
things. They think there's certain benefits to being a man.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. You're a woman, right? And you want to be
Who's a
with
woman?
another. So you're
There's
a
no
woman. There's a
woman on the
woman.
table.
There's a woman. I'm looking at the woman, right?
pointed
You're
to
a
you.
woman.
No, he said you're a woman.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm not saying I'm a
In
woman.
today's,
Yeah.
in today's world,
okay,
in today's world, hold on. In today's world, right?
Yeah.
We
I can
have
hear you.
women who act like men to marry women. Why doesn't that woman marry a man?
Okay, you know what? I need to hear from Titi
Why?
Kuti.
I wanted to quickly say that
this.
the way this guy
Yeah.
spoke, you can tell he's been to a freak off.
He has been to a freak off. I know
You
what I'm
guys should
talking
stop saying
about.
this. Thing.
Okay.
I don't even know what the freak off is. So.
If
I will
I hear-
put you in the metallic group.
By the way, Titi and I are in the same biking
group.
Yes.
biking
Freak off
club.
group.
Biking club.
Okay, biking club. Just
Okay,
checking.
so Titi.
Okada is our correspondent.
Okada, okay.
Power bike.
Yeah.
Freak offs, he has to explain that.
I don't know what you're
'Cause I
talking
don't
about.
know.
It's Olamide. Olamide is the king of free cuffs in
But
Lagos.
he keeps pointing to you.
Because he has tried to drag me to one. I said no.
Desperation. All right, Tizzy, let's have you talk about the same topic. I am of the thought that today's men, we're softer. We're softer because a lot of men hide behind mental health issues. A lot of men, things happen, they're like, oh, it's affecting my mental health, rather than dealing with it.
I disagree. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
I disagree.
but that's the situation.
No,
a
I
lot
disagree.
of people run and use that as a cover.
A lot more men are even more stressed these days.
I'm not saying men are not stressed. I'm
They are-
just saying that in
a lot-
today's world,
a lot of men
do
don't
you
even
think-
talk anymore.
Sissy, do you think
With the
men
emergence
do-
of AI.
men do?
Yeah, a lot of men don't talk. They just talk to AI. AI, I'm feeling like this. Do you think I should talk to my wife? The AI will say yes. If you were born, they will not.
Okay.
Before you know it, they commit suicide. What are
Thank
we
you
talking about?
for your take on that. But you're letting this man escape.
Sorry.
Do you think men are softer now? And in all honesty, I don't think it's because of women.
I'll agree that men from 34 and below could be softer. But from 35 to 50, no.
Okay. Why do you say that?
What
Why the age range?
would happen is they understand the terrain. They've lived part of all that has transpired, and they have a foreseeable perception of where things are headed,
Okay.
and they hold their space.
Okay.
It's different from being softer.
Okay.
So, I already told you, like, there's been a gender war for 35 years.
Invincible gender war.
It's not invisible, it's very visible.
Just open your eyes.
Home Alone, most of the films that we watched in 1993, 94, 95, they were talking about separation of families, and, like, it's already been implanted from then. And then it has grown till now. And
today is World International Boys Day.
Yeah, it is.
wonderful.
Guess what? No noise about it too.
No, it's yeah.
But the day that we're doing Girls International Wars Day, you see it everywhere.
So
Wait, whose fault is it?
There-
you
there-
just
It's social
established.
it's a social contract.
It's
just the
I
way
believe
it
in
is.
accountability. I believe in
It's the way it
accountability.
is.
Gang established the fact that there are a lot of men behind what we have in today's world. Why is it that men are not celebrating men? Let's start talking about accountability here. A lot of men, and I do have this statement I make a lot. I said, men do not help men. When we started the show this evening, I asked the both of you, how are you? How are you? You said you were going to give me a generic answer. You said you were looking for money. We're not giving you money. But the point is this. When do men start taking accountability for what today's world is like? I remember when Uti was seated right here, and he was saying that today we blame a lot of women for things, but it's men like us that have created those situations. So I also think that men have become very soft, and then we point fingers rather than getting things done.
So, you live in a world where women, when it favors them, want to be your equal. And then, when it puts them on the back foot, you gotta be a man.
Exactly.
That's the world you live in today. And the quicker you realize it, the sooner you understand the dynamics of what that entails, the more you can function productively. Because what you have is two standards that would at the same time suppress you and make you feel inadequate. Because so
men, we have it tougher now.
we definitely have it tougher. Why? Because you have a lot of women who are decision-making positions, who have risen through the ranks and are up there.
And they've earned it, by the way. We need to identify that a lot of women who are at the top earn it.
As much as they've earned it,
Yeah.
in my experience, I have still seen emotions play out where logic should thrive.
Oh, okay.
I've seen it. You find an establishment where, so for me, I have always admired women in administrative positions and, management, the whole thing's down. But when you give them the power of leadership, you need to have the strength,
Okay.
so to say, to be able to make certain decisions on logic.
On logic, yeah. Being objective.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the part that I don't think they've been able to, find a way to harmonize.
Okay.
And what has happened is there has been a cover for it.
So you don't mind if a woman is on top, or do you always want to be on top of a woman?
It's not about who is on
What
top.
question-
Why does that sound
what
like
question are you
something
asking?
else
So
entirely?
for me-
I'm not. Which?
Okay,
let's
we need to be clear.
It's not about who is on top. Even
Okay.
in intercourse,
Okay.
there have to be dynamics.
I need to jot things down.
There have to be dynamics. But the most important thing is that there has to be a consensus of ideology, which is what is lacking.
Okay.
From intercourse to marriage to, there is no consensus of ideology. And why is that? A lot of women who have risen through the ranks to be at the top of
Captains
industry
of industry.
Yeah.
have used that as an instrument to suppress idealistic characteristics that can make relationship work. And the minute they find anybody that puts them on the back foot of that, it seems like a challenge immediately.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Instead of like, okay, this is so. Let me simplify
I get what you're trying to
Let me
say.
simplify it.
Sisi, can I ask you a
Let me
question?
simplify it. You're an MD in the office as a woman. You control 50 men, but you don't realize that to make your home and family work, the minute you get to your house, you have to leave that status at the door before you walk in. It's difficult.
Oh, fantastic! I
It's
love
very
that analogy.
It's very difficult.
So I have two questions now. Number one, you, Titi, if you had an issue right now, you had like a very, very, God forbid, you have like a very emotional problem, right? And you go on TikTok and you are crying. What do you think fellow men will say about you?
So
As
unfortunately,
opposed to if a lady who's an actor, right, comes on TikTok live and she's like, oh my God, I have a problem with my landlord and everything, right? What do you think people will say if you went in that position and you were crying on TikTok? That is one. Two, you mentioned that if a woman is in a top level position, right, would she take that
Switch
that
of roles.
aura,
Switch of roles.
right? No, that aura
From
or that
work to
role
home.
from work
Yeah.
to the house.
Yeah.
Take, for instance, not an MD. You know why? Because the paraphernalia of an MD is strictly administrative. You have job roles like politicians. I'm talking about if a woman was a governor, for instance, or a woman was said to be like maybe a vice president in this country, where some of this paraphernalia follows her into the house. Take, for instance, her security would follow her into the house. Do you think that she would be able to, be submissive to her husband?
God,
I
that's
can
the
tell
longest
you for
question
a
I've
fact.
ever had.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you. Okay, so let me just ask you that
That's
question.
a long question. Okay.
question one again. Rephrase it so I don't miss anything, please. Question one again.
Titi Kuti goes on TikTok live and is crying about an emotional issue.
Got it. So first, I already established the over sentimentality for the feminine gender in the society, which has been weaponized by a lot of them. Why? Because they were taught by the predecessors or precise, like the generations before.
Yes, I want to tell it.
Yeah, it's been taught. So you will never find me on TikTok It's not going to happen. And I can tell you, there is no man who holds the space that will do it.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Okay.
So the comparison you're trying to make is an inexistent comparison for a minority of men who still belong to a certain school of thought. Kulishele.
aka it's not going to happen.
It's not TikTok. Who is TikTok? Who are the people that are there?
So we're talking about it in modern day.
I'm saying modern
Okay,
day. I'm a modern day guy. I'm not 60 years old yet.
Okay.
So I'm not going to go to TikTok
and then put out all your challenges.
So TikTok is
But guys, we've run out
just
of
one of the
time.
stuff. I'm just talking about
Yeah.
TikTok. It could be Instagram. It could be anywhere.
Any social platform. That's not where I'm going to deal with my issues. It's not going to happen.
All right.
But
so
the women will have a field day about it. I'll answer his second question very quickly, which is she's a governor or whatever it is. Look, it's not about having 60 AD camps and all of that. It is how you sort of things would make them understand. Omo, they'll be telling themselves, we dey Oga house, so because Oga has made them understand that when I'm in the home, I'm a wife before anything else.
I like that.
Simple.
Because I know a deputy governor in Nigeria.
That's the part that a lot
I know a
confront.
deputy governor in Nigeria
Because it's intoxicating.
That literally said to our security paraphernalia that the moment we get to the house, everybody fall back. She will serve her husband and kneel down.
That's how
deputy governor.
That's how to do it.
So on that
Even if you
note,
don't kneel down,
we've
that's how to do it.
established that no matter what, it's an ongoing thing between both genders,
back and forth.
and hopefully there's a balance sometime very soon.
Hopefully.
On this note, I want to say thank you to all the gentlemen on the black table for tonight. We all got the memo except for Gang, but because Gang didn't get the memo, he's going to be giving us just a tip, and we'll be signing out.
Oh, just a tip?
Yeah, just the tip.
Just the tip. Gang, why are you asking? You know now. You know it's the tip.
Tip.
Why do you want to put the entire shaft? What's going on?
What are we talking about here? I'm cut her back.
Word for tonight.
Okay.
Just a tip. Thank you.
I would say, okay, that's me right there. I would say, know your role, play it well. Don't try to be what you're not. So simple. That's all.
Thank you,
Thank you
Gang.
very
That
much.
was just a
Wow.
tip. Anyways, I'm going to raise our glasses up and then, celebrate all the amazing men and women out there.
What
and I
happened
want
to
to
our
say,
female guest, by the way?
oh, she bailed on us. Anyways,
Scared of the black
next week
table.
we would have a female presence on the show. Maybe not sitting on the table, but definitely we would have a lady give her thoughts on most of the things we're discussing on
What are
the
we
show.
toasting to?
So let's toast to good health, wealth, and the success of this gentleman right here, Titikuti.
Success of all of us.
Success to all of us. Now, Kilo Shele, it's
These are against you people. You are buy one get 10 free. Are all bonanza. On this note, I'd like to say thank you to all the viewers and of course all the guys behind the scenes. Thank you, guys, amazing. We'll see you same time, same station. Remember, the darker the night, the brighter the stars. Good night.
Good night.